Hi guys, Matt Hancock's here and welcome to our first video of this short little sequence that we've put together just really to identify what's necessary to achieve optimal health and well-being. Now, we're probably aware of the fact that macronutrients provide us with the fuel to live, so proteins, fats and carbohydrates are necessary in our diet in order to provide us with the energy. And what's probably not so well known is that we need a correct balance of micronutrients to ensure good health and well-being. Now, this is also necessary in order to succeed with some fat loss, and this is not always so clear on the surface as why we might need to do that, why we need to take a multivitamin in order to drop some body fat. So hopefully this short video is going to highlight the reasons why for you, so you can kind of achieve some of the results that some of my clients have over the last few years. Now, just to frame things up, I'd like to start with this quote by Wendell Berry. Now, this to me just really kind of frames everything up that's happening right now in the food industry. People are fed by the food industry, which pays no attention to health, and are treated by the health industry, which pays no attention to food. And one of the scariest statistics really is that I've learned in recent times is that 5 companies control 85% of the world's food supply. Now, of course, what that means is it's almost a monopoly, and like any business, they're looking to maximize their profit. And so what we're getting is sort of commercially viable products rather than food that is being produced to improve our health. So we're kind of becoming an overfed, undernourished nation, and this kind of is highlighted in this sort of slide here. So we're used to knowing about type A malnutrition, which is where we're struggling to supply the quantity of food in order for survival. But we're now going into type B malnutrition, especially in the Western world, where we've got an abundance of food, but it's kind of nutritionally dead food. Okay, so we're eating the wrong sort of stuff, and a lot of the foods we're eating are kind of laden with sugar and pesticides and chemicals and toxins, and these are, unfortunately, they're compromising our bodies, are compromising our health, and are compromising kind of our hormonal balance, and it's making us sick, it's making us tired, and it's making us overweight. So no longer are we kind of looking at counting calories as the most important way to shed unwanted body fat. What we're looking at now is kind of the quality of the nutrients that we're providing rather than the quantity. You see, if you're not looking at the nutritional value of food, it really doesn't matter about the calories one little bit, because while the physical value of the calorie is constant, the manner in which your body treats that calorie isn't, and this varies based upon the form of the calorie. Yeah, so when it comes to calories, you really should be looking at the quality of the calorie and not the quantity. So we've kind of taken this a step further now. We know about, we're kind of learning about what the nutrients are doing to our body function, hormone balancing, in order to shed unwanted fat. Okay, so calories are becoming less important when we're looking at body fat restriction. So why do we need to supplement? Okay, if we can get our nutrients, we can just change our eating habits and get the right nutrients in, and we lose fat, then why am I even considering telling you about why we need to supplement? Well, the thing is, it's not the foods that we're eating now, even if we go healthy, or so-called healthy, it's not quite living up to what it was you know, 100 years, even 50 years ago. And I want to just explain that now. Basically, modern day farming, okay, has depleted the mineral content within our soils. So what's happening is that, you know, we're turning the soil over, and to really cope with the demand of the food, and obviously because modern farming wants to generate some sort of profit. So traditional methods of crop rotation, letting the land kind of wallow for every 7 years, it's not, you know, that's not existent anymore. And what we're doing is we're just turning the soil over far too frequently, and we're stripping the soil of its vital nutrients. And the statistic here shows that in Europe 72% of the minerals have been lost in the last 100 years. We also harvest too early now because we want food all year round. We want to be able to provide the consumer with as much varied fruit and vegetables and consumable products as often as we can. You know, we tend to pick fruit about 10 days, so it has a 3-day shipping and 7-day shelf life. So what that means is that the nutritional quality of the food is reduced, because the phytonutrients are kind of going to the root of the fruit and the root of the vegetable, and if it's picked too early, it hasn't ripened, then you're not getting the nutrients in there. Obviously that's going to affect the taste as well, because it's been picked too early. We also, due to cold storage, so not only 7 days, it can often be stored for weeks or even months, depending on the type of crop. This is obviously commercially advantageous, but when we consider that the food is losing its nutrition every day after it's picked, you know, it means the nutrients that we're getting from that fruit and from that vegetable that we know is good food isn't quite living up to what it was, you know, 50 years ago. For instance, the vitamin C in an orange is about 60% less than it was just 50 years ago, and you probably need to eat about 7 tomatoes to match the nutritional quality of 1 tomato 50 years ago. So with that decline in the nutritional content of the fruits and of the vegetables, that obviously is eating. When we think of eating healthy, we want to eat more fruit, we want to eat more veg, but when we consider that the nutritional quality is not what it was, then, you know, it shows there's a need for a supplement in order to fill the gaps. So how does that relate to body fat? Well, basically, micronutrients ensure good health at a cellular level. Okay, we've got to have good cellular health, and if we have good cellular health, it means that our hormones are functioning as they should. Okay, and one of the things to consider when we're considering weight loss or fat loss is that you need to ramp up your metabolism. Okay, so your resting metabolic rate needs to be nice and high so that we're burning more calories to live. Okay, now the thyroid gland, for instance, is the master and controller of metabolism. Okay, and unfortunately, because there are a lot of toxins in the body, it's not functioning as it should. Now, I'm going to talk about toxicity in the next video, so I won't go into that in too much detail now. I'll just talk about what the thyroid gland's function is and what is preventing it from working as it should, and what we can do to enable it to do its job properly. Okay. Basically, the thyroid gland will tell the cells how fast to work. Okay. It's a stimulating hormone. Basically, the pituitary gland and the thyroid was a stimulating hormone. So what that means is that we have a T3 and T4 hormones that will kind of act like foremen in a factory, if you like, telling the production line how effective they need to work. So, for instance, if we consider a factory, which of course will be the human body, what is responsible for the productivity of this factory or within the human body is the thyroid gland. Now, with the help of the T3 and T4, 100 trillion cells are individually organized to function according to a certain rhythm and at a certain rate of speed. So this hormone determines how quickly nutrients are converted into energy and how efficiently food burns in the body. So the tissues that make up the human body, right, are continually being renewed. If you consider every day approximately 200 grams of muscle and tissue cells are renewed. So every minute 200 million cells in our bodies are produced to replace the dead cells. And it is the T4 hormone that determines the speed at which the renewal takes place. Okay, so really important for ramping up our metabolism and making sure that all the cells are working as they should. Okay, now fluoride is a toxin which will kind of inhibit the productivity of the thyroid gland. Yeah, so now fluoride is in our water, it's obviously in our toothpaste, and what a lot of people don't know is that it's actually an industrial waste product. So there isn't actually clear evidence that, or clear research that it actually protects the teeth from decay, but we all just think that we're all kind of given this information that it does. But if you actually look on the small print on toothpaste, it will say do not swallow, okay, which to me is really interesting considering we're using it to brush our teeth, with. So it will run down, it will inhibit the function of the T3 and the T4. Now a couple of nutrients that are required to kind of neutralize this toxicity is iodine. Alright, now iodine neutralizes toxicity within the thyroid gland, and also selenium. Selenium is great because it's actually what is called a heavy metal chelator. So if you think of mercury, which is actually the second most poisonous substance on the planet, alright, we put mercury into our teeth as fillings, and that leaches out into our nervous system. And so it leaches out into our nervous system and it will run down the productivity and upset the balance of our hormones. Now, our hormones need to be nice and balanced in order to be healthy and therefore strip the body of fat. Okay, so selenium and iodine are something that we need, but in fact we're becoming more and more depleted with them. If you look at the iodine deficiency across the world here on this graphic, we can see that nearly 50% of the world now has iodine deficiency. Okay, and the same with selenium. Selenium is a fantastic antioxidant. Right, it protects against prostate cancer. A recent study found that obviously there's a relationship with a lot of health problems and selenium deficiency. A higher incidence of miscarriages, male infertility, mood problems, thyroid disorders, obviously which is what we're covering now, cardiovascular disease, and arthritis, just to name a few from that study. So selenium deficiency is becoming a bit more pronounced now than it perhaps once was. The other thing we need to consider as a nutrient that's really going to ramp up our metabolism is magnesium. Now, magnesium is required for more than 300 biochemical reactions in the body. It helps regulate blood pressure, maintains bone strength, but also ensures a healthy immune system. Now, foods like spinach and nuts and fish and beans and lentils are great because they, especially green vegetables like broccoli, for instance, they're full of magnesium and they give our body this vital nutrient that our body requires. Okay, so we can boost the productivity of the thyroid and therefore boost our metabolism just by making sure we've got the right food to supply iodine, selenium and magnesium. So this is a list of basically the vital minerals that our body needs for general cellular function. All of these used to be provided in the soil, but if you think about 75% of the soils are now 75% of the mineral content of the soil is now being depleted, then a lot of this now needs to be we need to be taking it from our foods, but obviously the foods that we eat aren't giving us quite the amount of nutrients that it once was, so we do need to give it some sort of support with a decent vitamin and mineral. The other reason we do is because when we're sick, you know, we obviously got the pharmaceutical drugs. So doctors will give you prescriptions, you'll get pharmaceutical drugs and whack that in to help with our ill health. The ill health caused by lack of nutrients from the food that we eat. So because it's kind of like, you know, we're becoming sick because we're not eating the right foods, and then we're then getting ourselves better with pharmaceutical drugs, but then they deplete the system down even further. For instance, aspirin will triple vitamin C excretion, paracetamol reduces antioxidant levels, antidepressants will deplete B vitamins and antioxidants, B vitamins give us energy from our food. So you can see there that it's just a bit of a downward spiral. Also, the lack of minerals and vitamins in the foods that we're eating, it results in food cravings. For instance, when we have chocolate cravings, so if any of you listen to this, you know, have urges for chocolate, then that is generally a sign that we're not getting enough magnesium into our system. So we're not eating enough of the foods that are providing us with magnesium, and therefore we're having cravings for chocolate. Cravings for sugar, cravings for bread, pasta, they all are linked to mineral deficiency. Okay, so we need to eat more of the right foods. We need to eat more fruits, we need to eat more vegetables, we need to eat more oily fish. We really need to get those essential oils in and get the magnesium into our bodies. So making sure that we're having the right quantity and quality of foods and supplying our bodies with the right amount of vitamins and minerals becomes ever so important when we're trying to lose body weight. So to sum up then, vitamin and mineral deficiency. Basically the lack of mineral content in our soil, the lack of vitamins in our food because of the transportation process, and also the lack of vitamins and minerals in the type of food that we're eating, okay, is resulting in basically hormone imbalances. Now the hormone imbalances cause several symptoms. In women it can cause fatigue, headaches, depression, weight gain, obviously premature aging, and with men you've got weight gain again, especially around the abdominal area, decreased strength and stamina, decreased libido, depression, night sweats. So all these things are related to hormone imbalances, and we'll try and, instead of going to the symptom and trying to improve our diet and give our bodies the right vitamin and mineral content to balance out our hormones, what we'll do is we'll go for the pharmaceutical drugs, which will run it down even further. And unfortunately what happens is that we just get sick, we get ill, and we put on weight. So that's kind of why we need to supply our bodies with the right amount of vitamins and minerals, and why a decent, high quality vitamin and mineral supplement will aid you in your quest to lose body fat. The next video is going to be on dieting versus cleansing, so I'm going to show you the benefits of cleansing, why we choose cleansing with all our clients that come to us for weight loss. But until then, I hope you've taken something from this video. Thank you for spending the time watching it, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers for now. Bye bye.